how to activate your heart intuition and how to get these spiritual downloads. They're very similar in that energy. And I'm going to give you an example of what it means when you follow your heart intuition, when you activate the heart intuition, because most people don't have this open. I'm going to explain it exactly. I'm already a little bit tired, but I decided because I felt I need to do this video, I'm going to do it now. So before I forget it, I will never forget it, but it's fresh. So many years ago, about 10 years ago, maybe even more, I had a spiritual awakening. We're going to talk more about the spiritual awakening. This is actually, I haven't talked about it on this channel yet, although it's really the highest form of spirituality almost. Awakening means realizing you're not your thoughts. You're just pure beingness, and you can just rest in that beingness without using your thoughts, without giving them any attention. And something interesting happens. So first of all, what happened to me in the past, or what happened, is I had the spiritual awakening. Then I was sitting many days in pure silence with very little thoughts. And then there was a moment of about 1 hour without any thought at all. And then I received from the higher energies into the heart chakra, I received this message, massage women. And there was still a person reacting to this and be like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. I was an internet entrepreneur before, and I didn't feel like massaging women for 30 euros an hour or something like that, and women that I don't even know. So I let it go again, all of the thoughts, everything, and the communication was again very clear into the heart chakra. So the same day, I opened up a blog on the internet, just a domain with a blog information talking about the massages that I was supposed to do. And the whole text kind of like flew. It was just flow. I didn't even think about the text. It just boom, 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 boom. Just came out like that. It didn't even feel like work. And the crazy thing is, 2 days later, I already started to get the first clients. So 2 days later, I already had the first client. And then it started mounting and becoming more and more and more and more and more. And now comes the interesting thing. There was a moment, it was a Sunday, I remember this very clearly, and I said, from now I do every session purely from the heart chakra. And I'm not kidding you. The universe responded, and I had so many requests that I didn't know where to put them. It was unbelievable. Suddenly everyone was calling me and be like, and I had, it was fully booked, like 5 sessions per day. And my sessions were usually at least 2 hours or longer. So you can imagine. So that was the heart intuition that was activated through sitting in the silence. So we're going to talk about what it actually is. Why don't they have access to heart intuition? Because as you think, this is hard to explain because I'm an HSP. I'm a highly sensitive person. I feel things other people don't feel. So that allows me to understand exactly what's going on in my own body, but also in the body of others. And that when you think too much and you control too much, all that subtle energy is pushed downwards into the solar plexus. That's also why a lot of people get, acid burn, not just because acid reflux, not just because they are eating the wrong things, but also because they're putting a lot of pressure. For some cholerics, they also have this high blood pressure. It's also the same thing. And why are they starting or they're leaving, okay. Or are they staying? Somebody just put on their motor for whatever reason. I'm gonna say something if they stay here and leave the motor on, because I definitely do not accept that. If they leave it on like non-stop or just park somewhere else. It's just another synchronicity. It's past 8 o'clock and they need to start the motor now while I'm doing the video. So, again, with the campers, it's whatever. Okay, so the energy, if you release the thoughts and you rest in beingness, also in meditation or just complete relaxation, we're going to talk about this more. Also in future videos, I'm going to talk about this a lot. Then the whole energy starts to relax. Also with the mantras, the Aung Ong mantras, where you open up these energies, the energies start to slowly open up. And if you completely sit in relaxation and just, like, for example, if you're not awakened yet, you just stare at a certain spot, for example, on the wall, and you just fixate on the spot without thinking about anything. And if you think about anything, return with your attention to the spot. Then basically, as you relax into it, the whole energy starts to slowly open up. And it takes about 15 minutes before that energy completely opens up. And then, only then, the channel, the soft, very soft, relaxed channel from the fine energies, the fine frequencies start to move downwards into the heart chakra. And then you receive all the downloads, and you receive all the kind of intuitions, heart intuition, what I call, because it's very subtle. The heart intuition is very subtle. And then you receive that, and that allows you to make very clear decisions. It even allows you, if you know how to use it, to see the future, to feel the future. For example, I can sense when somebody says, oh, we're going to see each other in the afternoon or something, I can already sense whether it's going to happen or not. And when I meet people, I can already sense where it's going, what's going to happen in the future. But that's only if I let myself flow into the absolute now. I can literally feel it. And so you can sit in absolute silence. You can do the mantras like Om, Ong, especially from the heart chakra upwards. So Yum, Hum, Om, Ong, Om. These kind of mantras, that opens it up. And what you can also call just empty, empty, empty. So you just sit, and every time you feel there's a movement, just internally say empty, 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 and become completely empty. And if you can manage that for 15 minutes, you will see that the thing is, with people that have a lot of stuck energies, a lot of karmic energies, Vipassana is the same thing, by the way. If they have the stuck energies, these energies will start to rise, and you will feel maybe sadness, anger, shame, whatever was stuck down there. And if you allow it, I'm going to talk about this a lot as well, as this is a lot of stuff to unpack right now. But as the energy cloud opens up of those unresolved emotions, they will use the nadis, the energy channels, to push direction your eyes, and you will want to cry out or express something through your mouth, or be like, feel the anger, feel the pressure and when that clears, the energy starts to rise even further, and then you get the intuition and so forth. But if you don't allow to express that, and if you don't have the courage to go through those old emotions that are rising, that are stored somewhere inside of the body, then you will never get to the heart intuition. So you need to release these things first, and then will deeply relaxed into this kind of awareness. And then literally this heart intuition will start flowing downwards. So I would say living by heart intuition is already a very spiritually advanced way to live. And today I had the situation where I had 3 encounters with 3 women, where all 3 encounters ended the same way. And it wasn't really favorable to me. It was like more like where I was saying like, why is this happening? You know, it feels really strange. And I realized that they have their toxic metaframes going on. And I was like, this is really, really weird. Why is it exactly the same thing? So I said like, okay, if what I'm trying to manifest is not being manifested, where is my frequency not high enough? And then somebody reminded me, what does your soul plan say? And I'm a soul plan reader. I can, in this intuitive kind of channel, I can connect with someone's soul and give them feedback on what they should be doing in life. And it's always very, very powerful. It takes about half an hour to an hour. Anyway, so he asked me, what is it in your soul plan? And then I went into this intuition, in this heart intuition, and completely let go, just becoming aware of nothingness, basically just being empty. And then I can almost like soul kinesiology, where you basically ask yourself and then receive higher responses. So, but I do that only in the kind of like conscious realm. It's I don't even have to use the hands or something. And so I did that, and it came out that I'm not supposed to cross their soul plan. It came out that basically they're completely separate ponds or lakes, with huge distance in between, and I'm not supposed to cross their plans. That's why I'm not being pushed more into their energy. And so that made clear, and that allowed me to completely detach from that, because I was taking it personally. I was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? And so forth. And I was asking myself, okay, I was starting to micromanage, like the going into higher frequency, and be like, okay, what can I learn from this on a microscopic level, like, and do it differently the next time. But then when I started to get into the download, it became obvious that there's a much higher plane going on, like metaphysical thing going on in terms of the soul plan. And it was clear at that point, like a deep inner clearness, that I'm not supposed to cross their soul plan. And I had this belief that, I'm just gonna say it directly, basically, like it was. So, I'm gonna give you one of the examples. So, there was a Czech girl that I was supposed to meet, and she deleted my friendship without any reason, and then, she even ignored my invite for her to lunch, although she originally wrote me. So, it wasn't like I went after her. She wrote me. I gave her basically the invite. She ignored the invite, although she was right next to me. And then the next day, it turns out that she drives here where I am with my van, and she parks behind my van, and just a few meters. And I was like, what coincidence is that? And then a little bit later, there was a Czech guy, another completely different guy, who I talked to, who told me about her. And I was like, oh, I think that's the one I met on Facebook, but she doesn't want to talk to me, so I'm not going to talk to her. And then I heard those two talk together tonight, and that triggered me a lot. That really triggered me a lot, because I was like, my mind was like, women have it so easy. She can be just like a complete something, and she already has the next guy she can talk to. And then I think they went walking together. I don't know what they did, but and I really, it stuck with me, that energy, for a while. And I realized, of course, it wasn't the highest energy I could have. And women don't go through this a lot of times, like these same kind of things, because they immediately can go into libido empowerment, because they have so many options. So when a woman goes online or in their DMs or Instagram or whatever, she has so many options. She doesn't need to dwell in a long time in this emotion. So I noticed this in myself. Like, the moment I have a solution for this, which is my own personal solution. I can explain it some other time. But basically, the moment I'm in contact with someone else, I completely forget about the other thing. It gets completely replaced. So I understand why it's so easy for women, because, it gets instantly replaced. So that guy, that he can say, just, okay, delete the friendship. I don't even want to get to know him. Let's just switch. So I was getting emotional. I was angry, and I could feel that wasn't a very high vibration. And I was wondering, like, I was looking for the higher learning. And so this guy gave me the idea, what's going on with your soul plan. And suddenly I understood it from a higher metaphysical kind of connection. I understood why it couldn't happen. And that gave me so much clarity that I was able to disconnect from it. And that's again, like I said, a higher revelation, a higher insight is already a higher frequency. And that's why I was able to drop it, because the higher frequency came in. So when I understood why, I was able to let go of the anger. And that's the interesting thing. So understanding something, having the insight, the spiritual insight, is already a higher frequency, because a higher frequency is always connected to a better emotion, you could say. So anytime you work with these higher frequencies, higher intuition, higher insight, you have a much, much, much better life, and everything works smoothly. Like, for example, if you have the feeling that something never worked, it's because you were not in the flow. And only when this opens up, you're in the flow. That's why sometimes when you do something and you're in trance, and in this trance, you're not even thinking about what you're doing, but it's working well, it's because this channel is open. Because you're not thinking.